Okay, picture this. You got two friends. The first one starts investing really early, but with just a tiny amount of cash. The other one waits, gets a great job, and then starts investing a much bigger chunk of money, but way later in life. We're talking one friend is putting away maybe $10 a week. That's it, the price of a couple of fancy coffees. The other friend? They're putting in $100 a week. That's 10 times more money. So who do you think actually ends up richer by the time they retire? And more importantly, why? Well, the answer's probably not what you think. And I promise, by the end of this, you'll see a clear timeline and some super simple math that explains one of the most powerful forces in all of finance. Welcome to Sip Talk Money. I'm your guide. Today, we're going to break down exactly how a small, early start can absolutely crush a bigger, later start when it comes to building wealth. So, what's the secret? Well, it all comes down to a force so powerful it's been called the eighth wonder of the world. We're talking about unlocking the magic of compound interest. This is the secret ingredient, the key that makes starting early so unbelievably effective. There's this famous quote, you've probably heard it, often linked to Einstein, and it perfectly captures this idea. It's really simple. This financial force can either work for you, building a fortune, or it can work against you with things like credit card debt, where it can cost you one. So what is it really? In the simplest terms, compound interest just means you're earning interest on your interest. The best way to think about it is like a tiny snowball at the very top of a long, snowy hill. As it starts to roll, it picks up a little more snow, and as it gets bigger, it picks up even more snow with every single turn. Pretty soon, it's growing bigger, faster. Well, your money can do that exact same thing. To really feel the power of this, let's do a quick riddle. Imagine I made you an offer. You can have $1 million cash right here, right now, or you can have a single penny that will magically double in value every single day for 30 days. Be honest, what would you choose? Most people grab the million. Well, if you chose that single penny, you'd end up a whole lot richer. Because after 30 days, that one little penny grows into more than $5.3 million. But here's the real lesson. For the first few weeks, it feels like nothing is happening. Almost all of that incredible growth happens in just the last few days. That explosive growth is only possible because of patience. And in finance, patience is time. Okay, so let's bring this back from magic pennies to the real world. Let's look at a tale of two investors. We'll call them Maya, the early bird, and Liam, the late starter. Here's the setup. Maya gets her first real job at 25, and she starts investing just $100 a month. Liam, on the other hand, waits a decade. He's focused on other things. He starts at age 35, investing the exact same $100 a month. Same investment, same amount. The only difference is that 10-year gap. So let's watch how their race to retirement plays out. We'll assume a 7% average annual return, which is pretty typical for the stock market over the long run. Now check this out. By age 35, when Liam is just putting in his first $100, Maya has already invested $12,000 of her own money, but it's already grown to over $17,000. Her money has had an entire decade to start working for her before Liam even shows up to the race. The final result at age 65 is just stunning. Liam did great. He invested $36,000 over the years, and it grew to about $138,000. But Maya, she only invested $12,000 more than him out of her own pocket, but she finishes with over $275,000. She ends up with nearly double his money, all because of that one extra decade. So what this all boils down to is the power of time. That decade head start wasn't just an advantage for Maya. It was a financial superpower. It changes everything. You can really see it on this chart. Look at Maya's line. It starts growing long before Liam's even exists. In those first years, her money is growing from her contributions and from its own earnings. By the time Liam starts, he's basically trying to catch a moving target that's already picking up speed and pulling away. The gap just gets wider and wider. Let's actually put a price tag on waiting. Let's say you invest just $5 a week. That's it. If you start at 15, that could grow to around $57,000 by retirement. But if you wait just 10 years to age 25, the final amount gets cut nearly in half. And if you wait another 10 years to 35, it gets cut in half again. Every single decade you wait costs you a massive piece of your future. So if you're watching this right now and you're in your teens or your 20s, I really need you to hear this. Time is your superpower. Right now, your greatest financial asset isn't what's in your bank account. It's the number of years on the calendar ahead of you. It's all that time you have for that snowball to roll and grow. Just by starting, even with a tiny amount, you put yourself in an incredibly powerful position. Okay, but what if you're watching this and you're in your 30s, 40s, or even older? It's so easy to hear this and feel this wave of regret like you've missed the boat. Please, don't let that feeling paralyze you. The absolute worst thing you can do is, well, wait even longer. There's this wonderful proverb that says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. And that is so true for investing. Look, you can't go back 20 years, none of us can. But what you do have is total control over today. It is never, ever too late to start. You can't rewind the clock, and that's okay. What you can do is take action right now to give your money the most time possible to grow, starting from this day forward. Your future self will be so glad you started today instead of putting it off another year. So let's turn all this talk into action. Let's make it real. Here is a simple 3-step plan you can use to get started. I mean, literally, today. First, just open an account. If you're under 18, a parent can help you open a custodial account. If you have any earned income, a Roth IRA is an amazing tool. Second, automate a small amount. Seriously, don't stress about the number. Start with $5 or $10 a week. The habit is so much more important than the amount. And third, choose a simple low-cost investment. Something like an S&P 500 index fund is a great start. It basically lets you own a tiny slice of 500 of the biggest companies in America. The most important thing to take away from all this is that you can start today. No amount is too small to begin, and the second best time is always right now. I would love to see you join the conversation in the comments. What's your starting age, and what's the first amount you're going to automate? If this explainer helped you, please do me a favor and like, share, and subscribe to Sip Talk Money for more. All right, let's get that snowball rolling.